Indonesia records trade surplus of 1.32 billion US dollar in June. El Nusa obtained 6.5 trillion rupiah contract in the first half of 2021. Hello, good evening viewers. Market Headlines is ready to provide you information from business, economic, and capital market sector. And as the pandemic is still ongoing, we will provide you the latest COVID-19 information. And please stay safe by taking some simple precautions, such as physical distancing, wearing a mask, avoiding crowds, cleaning your hands, and having less mobility. And with me, Fajar Wayong, this is Market Headline. Indonesia's balance of trade registered a surplus of 1.32 billion US dollar in June 2021.
Mineral fuels, vegetables, animal oils, fats, irons, and steel were commodities that contributed greatly to the surplus, with exports touching around 18.55 billion US dollar, and the import was valued at 17.32 billion US dollar. Indonesia's trade balance registered a surplus of 1.32 billion US dollar in June 2021.
Neraca perdagangan kita surplus sebesar 1,32 miliar US dollar. Ya. Dari surplus ini karena nilai ekspor kita itu lebih tinggi daripada impor. Ya, ekspor kita tercatat 18,55 miliar, sementara importnya 17,23 miliar US dollar. Kalau dilihat dari grafik yang ada, ini ya surplus ini menggembirakan. Ya, tercatat kalau di grafik itu ya sejak bulan Mei.
While the nation's exports increased by 54.56% compared to June 2020, imports also jumped 16.12% year-on-year. The increase in export in June 2021 was also led by the rise in the price of commodities such as Indonesian crude palm oil, and also which climbed 7.42% month-on-month. The United States, the Philippines, and Malaysia were among the top importers that contributed to Indonesia's trade surplus. Jakarta, Raja Pakmo, IDX Channel.
Through economic observer perspective, the trade surplus can be maintained until few months ahead. Statistik Indonesia reported that Indonesia's trade balance in the first semester of 2021 reached 11.86 billion US dollar. In June, trade surplus reached 1.32 billion US dollar. Core Indonesia Director Muhammad Faisal stated that the trend will keep up until months ahead. It is because right now government is applying hard mobility restriction. It means that import activities may be reduced.
Ke depan terjadi pelebaran surplus, tapi sebetulnya ini bukan surplus yang sehat ya, karena walaupun ekspor mengalami peningkatan mostly karena peningkatan harga komoditas di pasar internasional, tapi impor mengalami penurunan karena kondisi ekonomi dalam negeri yang sedang sakit ya. Nah, apakah ini kemudian akan berlangsung lebih lama? Ini tergantung daripada pemberlakuan PPKM darurat. Semakin lama pemberlakuannya juga akan berdampak terhadap pelebaran surplus lebih lama. Nah, tapi walaupun tidak sehat, kalau kita berbicara dalam konteks pertumbuhan ekonomi, ya dampaknya terhadap pertumbuhan ekonomi ini memberikan efek positif, dorongan positif ya surplus ini terhadap perekonomian dalam negeri.
Presiden Joko Widodo revealed that the government is working with industry to secure medical oxygen supplies. The president mentioned several companies that were invited to cooperate, namely Aneka Gas Industri and Samator. Presiden Joko Widodo revealed that the government is working with industry to secure medical oxygen supplies amid a surge in COVID-19 cases. The president mentioned several companies that were invited to cooperate, namely Aneka Gas Industry and Samator. The president said that the two companies will increase production to increase oxygen stocks.
Seperti kita ketahui bersama, kenaikan kasus COVID-19 masih terus terjadi dan ini telah menyebabkan lonjakan kebutuhan oksigen nasional. Untuk pengobatan COVID, kita telah bekerja sama dengan industri-industri di dalam negeri untuk mengamankan pasokan dan distribusi oksigen medis yang dibutuhkan masyarakat. Saya sangat mengapresiasi apa yang sudah dilakukan oleh PT Aneka Gas Industri, PT Samator, yang telah bekerja maksimal memenuhi kebutuhan oksigen medis.
President Jokowi acknowledged that the need for oxygen in Indonesia has increased in recent times, where medical oxygen is needed by COVID-19 patients in hospitals and in isolation areas. IDX Channel reports. And now moving on to global update, China's economy sharp rebound from the coronavirus pandemic has now slowed in the second quarter this year. Meanwhile, Australia has strongly criticized the European Union's proposal to enact a carbon border tax. More stories on today's International Minute. The US and Germany will stand together against Russian aggression, President Joe Biden said as he welcomed outgoing Chancellor Angela Merkel to Washington. Biden said he had voiced concern to Merkel over a Russia to Germany gas pipeline, but they agreed Moscow cannot be allowed to use energy as a weapon. The US president said the two allies also opposed anti-democratic actions by China. The Chinese economy sharp rebound from the coronavirus pandemic has now slowed, official figures show. Gross domestic product increased by 7.9% in the second quarter of 2021 compared to the same time last year. That was less than half the rate seen in the previous quarter and missed economists' forecast of 8.1% growth. Australia has strongly criticized the European Union's proposal to enact a carbon border tax. The measure was confirmed in the EU's sweeping new climate plan. Such a tax would make exporters to the EU pay more for goods like steel and cement to level the playing field for European firms paying carbon permits. But Australia has argued that such a tariff would be protectionist and could breach trade rules. India's central bank has barred MasterCard indefinitely from issuing new debit or credit cards to domestic customers. The Reserve Bank of India has accused the company of violating data storage laws. The bank said MasterCard had not complied with rules requiring foreign card networks to store data on Indian payments exclusively in India. MasterCard will be prohibited from issuing debit, credit or prepaid cards to customers in India from July 22nd. IDX Channel reports. Market headlines will be right back. Stay tuned.
Kita sempat terhenti seperti jarum jam dinding yang tidak berfungsi. Ada mereka yang jatuh, ada mereka yang sakit, ada mereka yang kehilangan, ada mereka yang meninggalkan. Mereka pergi bergerombol dalam gelombang bernama kematian. Pakai masker, harga mati. Gak pakai masker, bisa mati.
Hai Sobat Investor, kalian ingin tetap bisa menabung meskipun keadaan keuangan kalian sedang sulit? Dengerin tips berikut ini ya. Kita masuk ke tips yang pertama ya. Nah, yang pertama, kalian harus memenuhi semua kebutuhan rutin kalian terlebih dahulu nih. Barulah setelah itu kalian bisa mengalokasikan pendapatan kalian untuk memenuhi kebutuhan pelengkap lainnya. Kita masuk ke tips yang kedua ya Sobat Investor. Jadi penting sekali bagi kalian untuk menutup hutang sesuai dengan kemampuan kalian. Selain itu, kalian juga perlu menentukan utang mana yang harus kalian dahulukan untuk dilunasi. Selain itu, penting juga untuk selalu menyesuaikan dengan uang tunai yang kalian miliki. Tips selanjutnya yaitu tips yang ketiga. Jadi kalian penting sekali untuk menekan biaya bulanan nih sobat investor. Jadi kalian juga memang harus memangkas kebutuhan yang memang sifatnya hanya pelengkap saja. Dan penting sekali bagi kalian untuk mempertahankan biaya bulanan yang sifatnya memang untuk kebutuhan utama kalian. Tips yang keempat terkait dengan pengelolaan aset. Jadi jika ternyata penghasilan yang kalian miliki ini tidak bisa menutup kebutuhan kalian, maka kalian bisa mempertimbangkan untuk menjual aset yang kalian miliki. Tips yang kelima, jangan lupa sisihkan sekitar 10% dari penghasilan kalian untuk ditabung di tiap bulannya. Dan saat keadaan keuangan kalian sedang sulit, tidak menjadi alasan untuk gagal mencapai impian. Jangan lupa ya, harus selalu rajin dan juga disiplin dalam menabung sobat investor.
Welcome back on Market Headlines. It is buzzing around on social media that Food and Drug Supervisory Agency, or BPOM, has stated ivermectin as a drug to support the handling of COVID-19 therapy through a circular letter. However, it was straightly opposed by the head of BPOM.
Head of the Food and Drug Supervisory Agency, Penny Lukito, denied that the agency had issued emergency use authorization for ivermectin as a COVID-19 drug. Penny said that currently clinical trials of ivermectin as a COVID-19 drug are still running in 8 hospitals. Penny said that ivermectin can be accessed into 8 hospitals that follow clinical trials and other hospitals according to technical instructions. Currently, people can get ivermectin with doctor's prescription. Currently, social media was pumped with a picture of BPOM secret letter that approved ivermectin as a COVID-19 drug. Misinformation was at the point where ivermectin has received emergency use authorization. IDX Channel reported.
And viewers, head of the Food and Drug Supervisory Agency, Penny Lukito, denied the rumor that the agency had issued an emergency use authorization for ivermectin as a COVID-19 drug. The fact is that ivermectin is still in clinical trial for treating COVID-19. Even though several global publications have shown ivermectin's use for COVID-19 treatments, but current use is limited to clinical trials in accordance with World Health Organization's guideline. And let's see ivermectin use from the global point of view in the next graphic. In the first graphic, we can see the view from World Health Organization. Ivermectin only be used to treat COVID-19 within clinical trials, while U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, say that ivermectin can't be used on COVID-19 patients. Other drug control authorities with a good regulatory system, such as the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, as well as European Medicines Agency, are also like-minded, as the current clinical trial data on ivermectin as a COVID-19 drug is still inconclusive. There is a study that stated ivermectin is effective to handle COVID-19. It can reduce death rate up to 90%. The study was led by Dr. Ahmed El-Ghazar from Benha University, Egypt. However, it was taken away from Research Square Journal by today. It is because the journal was using data contrary to scientific research protocols. But still, many countries, including Indonesia, are now conducting clinical trials for ivermectin. And let's see what is the status of ivermectin right now in Indonesia through the next graphic. In the second graphic, we can see ivermectin status in Indonesia. The first one to highlight is potent drug. Legally requires a medical prescriptions. And the second thing is undergo clinical trials in 8 hospitals. And ivermectin commonly used on animals, and ivermectin used to treat parasitic infections. And the National Food and Drug Control Agency, or BPOM, has given the green light to conduct clinical trials on the use of anti-parasitic drug, ivermectin, to treat COVID-19 patients. According to State-Owned Enterprises Minister Erick Thohir, Indonesia is ready to produce up to 4.5 million tablets a month if the clinical trial shows positive results. But what's interesting about Indonesia is the tendency of panic buying. Since people are sounding about ivermectin, pharmacies across the country are reporting a boom in sales of the medication, and it has been sold out on e-commerce sites. And as the demand goes higher, well, you know the drill. The price goes higher as well. But to overcome that, the government has set the highest retail prices for ivermectin. Let's see it in the next graphic. So the comparison of ivermectin prices from Indopharma, 12 milligram per bottle containing 20 tablets. The price is 123,000 rupiah, while the highest retail price is 157,000 rupiah. And why Indopharma? Other than it is the producer, the company had obtained marketing permit granted by Food and Drug Administrator on June 20th, 2021. The highest retail price setting is very useful because the actual price is 123,000 rupiah. But many sellers put it in 350,000 rupiah. It makes Indonesian Consumers Foundation strongly criticize the phenomenon of the high selling price of ivermectin as a therapeutic drug for COVID-19 patient, of course. But so far, there is no sanction from government. And due to high demand, Indopharma is producing more ivermectin these days. And to see the details, let's check the next graphic. So Indopharma's target on ivermectin production from July 4th, we can see the number, and July 30th, 8 million of ivermectin is targeted to produce, and August 30th, the next month, we also can see the number on the graphic. And for the upcoming months, ivermectin production is planned to be increased to 16 million tablets per month. This figure is 4 times higher than the initial production plan of only 4 million tablets a month. And yes, viewers, despite rumor is buzzing around about ivermectin's effectivity in handling COVID-19, but still, World Health Organization and a number of institutions such as BPOM, CDC, and FDA have also not given permission to use ivermectin to treat COVID-19. But if you want to take it for medicinal purpose, make sure you must take doctor prescription. And stay tuned on Market Headlines. We'll be right back after this quick break.
I'm Clara Antawijaya. I'm Associate Producer and News Presenter on Market Headlines. As Market Headlines starts at 4:30 p.m., which is in line with the closing market, therefore we summarize market conditions only for you. And my job in here as a journalist, I give concise and accurate news for the audience. And also, being a journalist is not only a job for me, but it is also a passion. Presiden Joko Widodo memiliki optimisme yang tinggi terkait dengan proses vaksinasi nasional yang sedang dilakukan saat ini. Bagaimana tanggapan dari pengusaha dengan angka ini?
Tentu membuat kita harus lebih berhati-hati.
Langkah apa yang tepat dilakukan untuk bisa meningkatkan pemahaman masyarakat?
Komunikasi publik adalah kunci. Jadi kita harus bisa menunjukkan kepada masyarakat bahwa vaksinasi itu penting.
Welcome back on Market Headlines. At the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 6,063.42. And then approaching the closing time on the first session, the index was on the level of 6,060.62. And then the index was showing strengthening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,072.51. In short, JCI went up 0.43%. And next, we're going to see the sectoral movement of today's trading. Leading the dynamics of today's trading, we got energy sector as the leader of strengthening trend that went up 1.55%. Industry sector went up 1%, and technology as the leader of weakening trend that today's went down 0.46%, and cyclic sector went down 0.33%. And from the sectoral movement, we're moving on to top gainers and top losers. Here are the key highlights from today's trading session. From mining industry, Aneka Tambang went up 0.38% to the level of 2,620 rupiah per share. Aneka Gas Industry or AGII went up 10.16% to the level of 1,680 rupiah per share. And still from the top gainers, BRIS went up 2.09% to the level of 2,440 rupiah per share. Arto went up 5.3% to the level of 15,900 rupiah per share. All four are included in top gainers today. And meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got from banking sector, BBCA or Bank Sentral Asia went down 0.08% to the level of 30,550 rupiah per share. BBHI weakened or went down by 2.51% to the level of 2,720 rupiah per share. While NICL went down 6.92% to the level of 296 rupiah per share. And Merdeka Copper Gold or MDKA went down 0.98% to the level of 3,020 rupiah per share. From market summary, next see the intraday movement rupiah towards US dollar. So open at the level of 14,503. Rupiah was also showing strengthening trend towards US dollar. And rupiah was closed at the level of 14,505. In summary, rupiah went down 0.2%. El Nusa managed to record the realization of work contract worth 6.5 trillion rupiah in the first half of 2021, or equivalent to 75% of the company's 2021 work plan and budget. Although hampered by the COVID-19 pandemic, El Nusa managed to record the realization of a consolidated work contract worth 6.5 trillion rupiah in the first semester of 2021, or equivalent to 75% of the company's 2021 work plan and budget. According to El Nusa's corporate secretary Ari Wijaya, the diversity of the service portfolio owned by the company certainly provides its own advantage. In the upstream sector, this segment is still the prima donna with its total solution services, such as well maintenance services and operation maintenance. Although in this segment there is a slight correction in exploration services due to the delay of several upstream oil and gas projects. Therefore, in second semester of 2021, the company is confident that it will be able to achieve the target with positive performance achievements. Moreover, the current increase in crude oil prices is expected to be an opportunity to open the tap for investment in the upstream oil and gas sector. IDX Channel reports. As an effort to respond high demand, Pan Brothers plans to increase its business activities in the production of personal protective equipment and cloth masks. Pan Brothers plans to increase its business activities in the production of personal protective equipment or PPE and cloth masks. This additional business activity is projected to provide additional revenue of up to $19.5 million by the end of 2021. In its prospectus, the management of Pan Brothers explained that the company was aiding additional business activities as an effort to respond to the high demand for PPE and masks needed by the public and medical personnel. Also, the company assessed that this segment can be an opportunity for the textile industry to rise from the pressure of cheap imports and the pandemic that weakens purchasing power. Management explained in early March 2020, the company actually produced PPE and cloth masks that were used for company needs and donation purposes. This was done by the company because it was difficult to get a large supply. The PPE and cloth masks that will be produced by the company will be branded iPan and Mask On. IDX Channel reports. Meanwhile, pharmaceutical issuer Kalbe Pharma is aiming to increase the capacity for COVID-19 testing up to 3,000 tests per day. Kalbe Pharma is aiming to increase the capacity for COVID-19 testing through the polymerase chain reaction or PCR test. Currently, the PCR swab conducted by Kalbe Pharma is about 2,000 tests. Kalbe management say that it was increasing the PCR swab capacity to 2,500 to 3,000 tests per day. This addition will be achieved in about 1 to 2 months. Meanwhile, Kalbe has introduced COVID-19 diagnostics with the reverse transcription loop-mediated isothermal amplification or RT-LAMP saliva method. Using saliva samples, tests using the RT-LAMP saliva method are more affordable than PCR swabs. Kalbe ensured that Kalbe Pharma's COVID-19 test service was carried out by meeting the price standards set by the government. Kalbe always follows the price directions from the government. IDX Channel reports. Adisarana Armada has successfully managed robust financial growth in first quarter of 2021, whereas the company's revenue grew by 37%.
Company that engaged in mobility of logistic transportation at the Sarana Armada, the company until the first quarter of 2021 recorded revenue growth of 37.28% or equal to 963.17 billion rupiah. In the first quarter of 2021, one of the company's business line, namely Antar Aja, also experienced a significant growth of 290.27% or 391.53 billion rupiah. It has made Antar Aja the second largest revenue contributor after rental businesses. And during the second semester of 2021, regarding the year-end performance target, the company is targeting a consolidated revenue growth of around 20 up to 25%, while the rental and auction businesses are expected to grow around 10%. IDX Channel reported.
And step aside from market condition as coronavirus pandemic takes big role on current economic situation. Here it is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business, and capital market channel. And as the COVID-19 pandemic is still going on, keep protecting your family by following the health protocols, wearing face masks, keep your distance and stay away from crowds, and wash your hands through running water. And also continue to support the vaccination program to accelerate the creation of herd immunity. I'm Fajar Wayong. Have a nice evening and stay safe.